Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Shamer Panjwani. I'm a partner at SLTX Capital, and I help aspiring hotel operators and owners break into the industry. Now today what we're going to talk about is how to acquire your first hotel property. So if you ever wanted to acquire a hotel or were looking at breaking into the industry and didn't really know how to go about doing so, today's video is the perfect video to learn that. So let's get started. So step number one is to learn the business. Now, there's many different avenues you could approach learning the business. The one that I'd suggest would be to go to hotel conferences. Hotel conferences are the one-stop shop for running into anywhere from brokers to brands to bankers to other hotel owners, and this is a really good experience, a good way to start learning about the business. This is how I went about learning how to acquire my first property, and so I highly suggest it. Another way to go about learning the business is just going on the online listings, looking at all the hotels that are for sale, and then picking up the phone and talking to the brokers that are listing these hotels. Now, you want to be able to have something of substance to talk about with these brokers, so I would suggest getting access to all the due diligence that's available on the hotels that are online for sale and learning a little bit about the different metrics that go into a hotel, like ADR, occupancy, RevPAR. These are all terms that you want to be comfortable with so that when you do talk to brokers, whether at a conference or over the phone, you're able to do so with some knowledge and a baseline understanding. Step number two, pick the strategy. So what I mean by picking the strategy is, what type of hotel are you looking at investing in? Are you looking at an economy hotel, a limited service hotel, full service? Are you looking at getting into partnerships with people? Understanding the strategy that you want to pick and go with is really crucial at the beginning, so that way you can focus on the type of asset and really honing in on the type of asset you're investing in. Now, me, for example, I chose to invest and purchase an economy hotel, and that was my way of getting my feet wet and understanding the operations, the different nuances that come along with hotels, learning the ins and outs of the day-to-day operations, as well as some of the high-level asset management tasks. But those are the different things that I would focus on when it comes to picking your strategy. You also want to understand what type of operation structure you want to have. Do you want to be a hands-on operator, like an owner-operator, or are you looking at acquiring the asset and outsourcing the operations to a third party? Now, you got to really focus on your goals here, because if you're looking at maximizing profit and return on your first hotel, the owner-operator model is the best, in my opinion, because you can really control the expenses and save that 3 or 4% management fee that you would usually pay to a management company. And that affects the bottom line, and that affects your returns. So step three, build your team. Now, this is probably the most important step, because you can't go successfully through a transaction without having the right team around you to support you and guide you, especially on your first hotel acquisition. So building a team, what does a team consist of? You have to have the right brokers, the right broker relationships that you've built to help with your deal flow and help you acquire that asset that you're looking for. The second would be having the right lending partner, the right bank financer to help with the capital stack and help you acquire that hotel. You want to have a good attorney, and what I'd suggest is having an attorney that has been through multiple hotel transactions, so that way you can kind of have a 2-in-1. You can have an attorney that'll help you with negotiating the purchase sale agreement, but you also have an attorney that understands the franchise agreement, what you can negotiate, how to negotiate the language in the property improvement plan, the PIP, which is going to be a given if you're acquiring an existing hotel. The brand is going to require you to do some renovations and reinvestment in the property before buying the franchise. And so having an attorney that understands both will help guide you through the steps that you would go through during a transaction. And then fourth is having an experienced hotel owner that you've built a relationship with to kind of guide you and mentor you on that first hotel journey. Now, that's really important, because that existing hotel owner that's been in the business for maybe many years can help identify the blind spots and some of the pitfalls that you might encounter along your first transaction. Now, step number 4 would be line up your financing. You could do this approach in 2 ways. You can either go to the bank once you've identified the property and you've already negotiated the price, and then you go to the bank. What I'd suggest is already having conversations with your lenders beforehand, so that way you can get some pre-qualification out of the way. So that means submitting your proof of funds, your personal financial statement, your tax returns. Having that in the hands of your lender will go a long way and save you a lot of time and give you some confidence when you're putting an offer in, and maybe even help you be more competitive than other offers if you've already got a term sheet from a bank ready to go and ready to finance you. That's a crucial step that I would suggest doing beforehand, or even simultaneously while you're looking for that first hotel. Step number 5 start sourcing your deals. Now, this goes back to kind of building your team in the sense that you're going to get your deal flow from either brokers or existing hotel owners that you've built relationships with. And so sourcing deals through those connections are what's going to get you to that first hotel. If you can't make it to a conference, like I said, you can always find the broker contact info online and start giving weekly phone calls, checking in with them, looking at their listings, building that rapport. So that way you can already have kind of a door open to them whenever you do decide to pull the trigger on one of the properties that they're listing. So building that relationship with the broker can help push your offer and your deal a long way versus some of the other buyers. Step number 6, moving on. Once you've sourced your hotel that you want to acquire and you've negotiated the terms, you've gotten under contract, and now we moved on to performing the due diligence. Due diligence is another very important part of the steps because due diligence will help solidify a lot of the assumptions that you've had before you even go under contract. So whether that's bringing your general contractor to visit the site with you during your due diligence period, whether that's bringing another hotel owner with you to help analyze the existing operations, what needs to be done, analyze the market, see where the value opportunities are. Due diligence is the most crucial step in making sure that all of your assumptions going into your underwriting are proven. Now, once you've performed due diligence, step number 7 is closing on the property and transitioning the operations over from the previous owner to you. Now, what I would suggest is early on during your negotiations or wherever you can, build a relationship with the seller. It really goes a long way. When I bought my first hotel, I had a very good relationship with the seller, and the seller was kind enough to actually help me transition the ownership from him to me. And that consisted of walking the property with me for a couple days after the transaction had closed, showing me some of the nuances that this property might have, some of the intricacies that are, specific to this hotel, helping introduce me to the staff, helping with the transition of the merchant accounts, the credit card batch, the bank accounts, payroll, everything. And so having that buffer with the previous owner helps a lot in your transition. If you don't have that, the next best option would be to lean on your mentor or your teammate who's also a hotel owner to help guide you through that transition process. And finally, once you've done that, now you've become a hotel owner. Acquiring your first hotel is a big move, but with the right mindset, the right education, and the right team behind you, it's absolutely doable. If you like this video and you want more videos that are similar to this topic, please like and subscribe and drop a comment below. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next video.